John and I met through our online community. He made a post that said, "Hey, can we?" Actually, I think John, you said I want to do an event. Can someone help with that? And I said, "Hey, dude, we did this a couple times, and I think we can help." So, we committed to doing an in-person event in October, and like I said, this is sort of the teaser to that. So, John, maybe you can talk a little bit about tell us your background, tell us why this event is important to you, and just tee up a little bit about yourself, and we can dive into the rest from there.
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Thanks everyone for jumping on this call this morning. I want to thank all of our partners and sponsors and the associates around OG Works and around Rockport. So my background, just briefly, I've had a financial planning practice, registered investment advisory firm in Austin. I lived there for 40 plus years, went to middle school and high school in San Antonio. So real familiar with the Port Aransas, the coast area. And when I sold my practice to a law firm in Michigan, I had a capital gain event. And it was right during COVID in 2020. I decided what better use of my time to buy a motorhome and start looking at these opportunity zones all across the U.S. Actually traveled 17 states, started in the Southwest, looked all through Arizona, Utah, California. Kind of funny, I drove that motorhome up and down the hills of San Francisco, looking at opportunity zones in that area, believe it or not. That was fun. We ended up coming down here to the coast area, did a search down the coastline from Rockport down to Matamoros, Brownsville area. Saw where SpaceX was blowing things up in Brownsville. Elon Musk and his team had bought up pretty much the whole community down there, and a lot of speculators down there, things going nuts. We searched up through the Midwest, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kentucky, looked at property in West Virginia, opportunity zones in Niagara Falls, New York. Came back to Rockport in June of 21, and Aransas County is a bit of an anomaly. Why we decided to set up our opportunity zone fund in Aransas County is because, number one, the eye of Hurricane Harvey hit here almost 5 years ago. Next week, August 25th, be 5 years. And there's a lot of inventory, a lot of property been demolished, and prices hadn't really begun to soar like they have in the last 6 months. So there's a lot of inventory. There was a lot of people starting to come back and get out after being locked down in COVID. We ended up purchasing our first property here in August of 21. It was an old Leander Court, a lodge that was in the excess of 50 years old. We have acquired a second property and have 2 more in our pipeline. The community, and some of the others here will speak to this, is pretty much ripe with tourists. It's the #1 fishing village in the state of Texas, fishing destination. We're just 20 miles north of the most popular beach in Texas. Port A is referred to by locals. And so I decided to deploy the proceeds from my capital gain here and get this thing launched, and it's called the Coastal Bend Opportunity Zone Fund. Hope that gives you all a little background as to why I chose Aransas County.
Yeah, John. So you literally toured all over the country in your RV, right? And you came to this conclusion on your own, which is very rare, by the way, that someone does what you did, right? To find a gem, And so, I mean, can you speak a little bit about some of the zones that you saw, and what drew you ultimately to Rockport? I mean, sounds beautiful. I can't wait to see it in October. It'll be my first time. We'll be there in person, myself and one of my business partners, Ashley Tyson. I'm still trying to rope my other business partner, Jimmy Atkinson, into it because he lives a few hours away. It's still on maybe a possibility, slight teaser. But yeah, John, I mean, you saw how many states, right?
17 states,
17
over
states.
1,000 opportunity zone locations. A couple that stick out in my mind are Niagara, New York. But one in particular around Austin, Taylor area has where Samsung recently announced, I guess about 4 or 5 months ago, a huge investment just east of Austin in Williamson County. I almost pulled the trigger and bought some property there However, it was starting to price, you know, they were already factoring in the price of Samsung coming there. It's just off the chart. The farmers now are getting somewhere north of 70,000 an acre for farmland in rural Williamson County. So several experiences. I can certainly remember looking at some properties in the just east of Havasu City, Arizona, that were very attractive. But the reason that back to Aransas County, 85% of this county is actually designated low-income opportunity zone census tracts. And the county to the south of us is called San Patricio County. It's only has about 5% of the county as opportunity zone tract, a real small city called Taft. And that is because there's so many refineries and decent paying jobs in San Patricio County, which includes Portland, Ingleside, and then the next county is Nueces, and maybe Dee Dee can speak a little bit more to that, but absolutely none of Port Aransas is opportunity zone. So it's a bit of an anomaly, and the reason I've determined that Rockport fills the bill, one, Hurricane Harvey hit here, two, there's a huge amount of second homeowners who report their income in Austin, San Antonio, all throughout the Hill Country, even Houston. And so the actual resident population is in the lowest 25% census tract. So one neighborhood is called Key Alegro. 82% of those 600 property owners are absentee second homeowners.
Well, I think, John, your travels totally mirror what we've heard nationally. You know, like you got to go find this stuff. And so this event is an opportunity to see it, not to have to go find it. You've done the legwork, man. So kudos to you. And